Offense has to be elite.
It has to
and
be.
if it's not, we're in just a world of shit.
Yeah.
It's just
then you drafted the wrong quarterback.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy that we are going to be in a situation where we find out the answer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Caleb Williams is the guy. I'm rooting for him very hard. If it doesn't go well next year, I will be the first to be like, okay, maybe this isn't good.
All right, before we get going here, Chief, I got to tell you, I just landed from Talladega. I'm all sunburned.
There you go.
See my face? It's all red.
Yep.
I got to tell you, it was great to be out there on the track, and it was even better to be drinking Miller Lights while I was out there.
Americana.
It was awesome. If you've never been there, they got this like little street called the Boulevard, and it's just
Great spot.
It's just a huge party. And like they have like these little like kind of bars, but you can't sell alcohol, so they just give you beer. You just got to kind of tip them. And so it was just awesome. I could just go anywhere, throw a couple bucks, get a Miller Lite. And,
That's great.
Just have a nice time in the infield. So if you've never been to a NASCAR race, I recommend stocking up on Miller Lite and then going to the race because it's a blast. There was Miller all over the place. So cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. The taste you can depend on, a great beer trusted by beer lovers for 50 years. The original light beer since 1975 and still iconic 50 years later. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories, and the official beer partner of the Chicago Bears. Go to MillerLite.com/stretch to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Tastes like Miller Time Chicago. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. All right, welcome to the stretch. Obviously going to recap the Bears draft. I think White Sox Dave is going to join us from Italy.
What?
Yeah. So
We have to? That just feels like shitty Wi-Fi and him just getting frustrated.
I know. We'll give him a quick hook. We'll do all like the.
Enjoy vacation.
I know. I just like.
Well, he wanted to zoom in at 4 a.m. for the draft too. To the draft show. Yeah.
All right, he's back.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to dissuade him after I had to get him up off the mat and bring him back alive.
I was like picturing him like in like a suit, like headed to like a winery with like the comb over. I'm like, oh shit, that's not gonna happen anymore.
Yeah.
He's
No.
got hair. Yeah. So that's a different thing.
I got a question before we get to the draft. Are you guys good at remembering jersey numbers?
Pretty good.
I'm so bad.
I was on macro dosing, filling in for PFT one time, and we spent like 45 minutes just doing numbers.
I'm so bad.
Like, are we talking like guys on your team or like
Everything.
league wide?
Both. Yeah, both.
So
like I can't remember anyone's jersey number.
So if
I
I
can
say
remember
Greg-
quarterbacks.
If I say Greg Maddox,
No. Blank.
I don't
30.
know.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like not even a guess.
that's crazy.
I can QBs, and I think that's it.
Quarterbacks are easy. Well, you like
Quarterbacks, yeah, for sure. But no baseball, no.
No.
Derrick Rose.
Well, I mean that's one.
Yeah.
So that's like one.
That's
is
like an
easy
icon.
one to- like
Yeah.
yeah.
Joakim Noah.
No.
What? 13.
I thought.
Dude, I have no numbers. I have no numbers.
I'm bad at it.
You
What'd
didn't know
think it
Noah?
was?
I'm bad
Yeah.
at it,
See, all right. So I'm happy that at least one person.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about Matthew Golden, the Packers wide receiver is going to be number 22, and I was like, that's a shitty number. And Peter's like, that's a running back number. I was like, it's not even a good running back number. And I forgot Forte, Derrick Henry, Emmitt Smith. Everyone just keeps tweeting me. I'm like, dude, I don't remember any number.
No, I don't.
If you had asked me what Emmitt Smith's numbers was before, it would have taken me forever.
I don't see numbers. No.
It's crazy.
You guys have a blind spot.
Yeah.
I think we're actually in the majority here. I think there are people who are like exceptional at it. And obviously those people, when you like get something wrong with a number, they will come after you.
Yeah.
The Stephen Cheys of the world,
Like I think he's a freak for having that, knowing all that in the dozen.
Yeah, right.
I know some weird shit.
He's
too.
crazy. Yeah, and I don't like quarterbacks. I know quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But that's it.
And like guys who go by like all the like the Blackhawks, I remember those because they went by the number 88, 19, 50,
10, yeah.
2. Like
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
all
those are
ones.
right.
Like those.
I
are
think
ones
like
I remember.
winning obviously helps with that
Yes.
too. But you know who's firmly in this camp and always has been is White Sox Dave.
He's a
Like,
numbers
numbers
guy.
it?
He is not a numbers guy.
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah,
Why?
I think there's more of us than there are. It's just that when you fuck it up, people are like, how could you fuck that up?
Yeah. Like
You know
gotta
what I
be
mean?
A real legend.
Like, and I just can't.
For some reason,
I was trying to remember Rizzo's number.
Yeah.
What is it?
44.
44.
Okay, all right, that's that one I should have gotten.
KB?
Yeah.
But like, I can't.
13.
17.
17.
All right, so Eddie and I are the same.
yeah.
I just
You
can't
just
remember
called
any
him
of it.
Daniel Bodie.
Yeah. Well, but like now I realize it's KB 17. But
Yeah, KB 17.
yeah,
that
but
makes
like-
sense. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm going off the rip.
44 I should have
Nah.
gotten, but yeah, I just I can't.
Wow.
I'm not a numbers guy.
Yeah,
Just
but I
none
can
of them.
remember like my teams that won, especially.
Right. If you tell me the number, though, obviously I'm like, of course it's 44.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I could. If you tell me the number, I could tell you if it's that or not.
I will say football has gotten harder.
Football's impossible now.
Yeah.
Like Sosa, 21. We'll never forget that.
There's certain. Yeah, I mean, like Jordan Pippen.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Obvious, but I'm saying like just pretty much every other number.
Just like at large, yeah. No, I'm with you.
All right,
Clearly.
let's talk Bears draft. Sorry, it was just bothering me because I was like, I feel like I'm more in the majority here of just people who can't.
Not knowing Emmitt Smith is crazy because he's the all-time rusher.
Didn't have any. I mean,
Super
Derrick Henry's
Bowls.
the best running back right now.
All right, but
Matt Forte was awesome.
I think I would have.
I wouldn't have known Emmitt Smith.
Forte, I always get confused. I always want to think he was number 40 because I think it's because of his last name.
Yeah,
Gale Sayers number 4.
I know it, Gale Sayers,
Yeah.
and I have that jersey. I know it's retired, but not knowing Emmitt Smith.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's what only makes it a little bit better. Like if it was just like Forte or if it was just Derrick Henry, people are like the fact that it's Emmitt Smith. It proves that I just don't know any of these numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know shit.
No, I couldn't tell you any of these guys
Right.
now.
I was trying to think about like Alshon. I mean, Brandon Marshall.
17.
I remember 15 for Brandon
yes.
Marshall.
You remember Greg Olson?
Was he 82?
82.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I always think 88, but it's 82.
All right, this is bad podcasting. I apologize. It was just at the top of my head.
Like I said, we did a macrodosing for 45
naming numbers is bad.
Yeah.
It's not the best.
All right, we'll get into the draft now. I want to like let's kind of like go through it as best as we can, and then I kind of want to do like car thoughts at the end
Okay.
because I feel like there is room for some car thoughts with this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Do we agree with that?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was weird.
It was a little weird.
I just think it didn't fall the way that
I'd agree with that.
they wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
I'd
think-
agree with that.
I think they would have gone Trenches or someone else at 10 had their guy been there.
Oh, I disagree with that.
You don't think so?
I think they
You
were going Loveland.
all the way?
Yeah.
So if Will Campbell's there, they're taking Loveland?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they were, and I think Poles has a little bit of a tell now. We've done a few drafts with him. It's just the guys who he does not talk about at all. He did not talk about Wilson Loveland at all.
Not a word.
There was no smoke, and that's what ends up being the guy.
Yeah.
So I think he was the guy. I think the Genty stuff was,
All smoke.
I don't know if it was all smoke. I'm sure they took some calls, but I think the price was so high that they never actually considered.
Like I believe that Genty was probably higher on their big board than
Correct.
Loveland.
But
Yeah.
they were never going to do it at the price that it was going to take to go up to 6.
Because I mean, I got to assume that they like this guy a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Take him at 10 to like
Correct.
completely buck the trend and take him over Warren.
That part is, I think that one is like, people are like, how do you not take Tyler Warren? I think that's just Colson Loveland played without a quarterback this year.
Yeah.
If he had played with a quarterback like he did 2 years ago when he was phenomenal catching the ball, I think it would have been going into this draft a lot closer in the public conscience. Tyler Warren, they went to the fucking, whatever,
Playoffs.
semifinals,
Final, yeah.
and he was doing everything.
He got Heisman votes. Yeah.
I mean, that game against USC when he caught a touchdown, threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown,
Yeah.
So I think I think they're way closer than anyone realized, and so it's not even close to crazy. Like I've read all the stuff where people are like, yeah, a lot of people had Colson Loveland, a lot of teams had Colson Loveland ahead of Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
I think
So we know Tyler Warren more.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
we get sucked into that, and people get sucked into the mocks, being like he was a top tight end, you didn't take him. Whatever. Regardless, there were two things that really were like, all right, I'm all in on this guy. A is like he cannot come with better recommendations from Michigan people. Which is always a good sign.
Yep.
Like from top to bottom, not just like, oh, he's going to be a great pass catcher. Like they're like, no, he's a dog. Like top to bottom. And then B, McShay's like the separation he gets.
Yeah.
It's not Brock Bowers, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And
And
I was
like the top end speed for
Yeah.
a tight end is supposed to be crazy. I saw someone make the comp where it was like Tyler Warren's more of like the Gronk mold and Loveland's more Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, and if you're Ben Johnson, you probably err towards
Kelsey.
Yeah, and it's been talked about Laporta,
Yeah.
a guy like that. So I thought the first pick was great.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you.
Especially because I didn't want them. What I thought going into it was I don't want them to trade too much to move up for Ashton Genty, and I think Ashton Genty's going to be awesome, but I think that's crazy to give up draft capital for a running back. And I also didn't want them to just go by. This is why you do the offseason where you reconfigure the offensive line in free agency, because I didn't want them to extend themselves and take an offensive lineman who maybe isn't worth a top 10 pick just because it's a position of need.
It's a hole.
Yeah, and that kind of gets into the next pick where we took, a 6-foot slot wide receiver who's really fucking good, but if you're best player available, like you're best player available, and that's what he was.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so you can't. I guess you can't be upset when you're always like, oh, just do best player if it does wind up being a tight end or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, Luther Burden, to me, would I have preferred the draft board fell a different way and you got a running back? Yeah. But we knew we needed another receiver.
Yeah.
That was not like going into the draft.
Right.
I was like, they need to figure out another receiver. It just happened to be, with the 39th pick, and I already like, Ben Johnson. You see his quote where he's just like, there's going to be great competition, and we're going to find out, it's not about when you have the ball, it's when you don't have the ball. Kind of a shot at DJ Moore. Like.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Like, there should be some serious competition for who gets the ball in this offense.
Yeah. No.
And Luther Burden, he didn't have a great year last year. Missouri kind of, I don't know. Like
he didn't take the next step.
Sputtered out.
But going into last season, he was projected to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
And he had 1,200 yards receiving in the SEC. And if you look at the guys historically who have that level of production, it's all like the big names that you've seen coming out of like Alabama, and like the guys who produce in the SEC typically translate to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a stupid thing we do, but 2 years ago we went there with Nick and we watched that game, and he was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the eye test in person against LSU, he looked great.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that I feel like happened in this draft, and we could talk about the whole draft once we go through it. But we're gonna find out. It's everything's there for Caleb now. Outside of a running back, and DeAndre Swift is still a good running back.
He's fine. Yeah.
Not great, but he's fine. Yeah. And I actually like doing that, where we're speeding up the process. Like, if you had told me that, when we talk about the rest of the picks, like, did we get a lot better on defense? Probably not. But this year is going to be pretty much like, is Caleb it? Because it's everything. He's got, talent everywhere. He's got a reworked offensive line. He's got first-round picks in every
position. Every position.
Right.
Yeah.
Except running back.
Yep.
And if it's not it, then you'll know this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no like, hey, he doesn't have anyone to throw to, or hey, there's no one blocking, and then you can work on the defense.
We did double down our stock though on Braxton Jones. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they did take a tackle.
I did, but this guy.
We can't. Listen, Ryan Poles. We've had an up and down relationship with Ryan Poles here.
Yeah.
I'm back to trusting him. You got to see it before you can trust it when it comes to his lineman picks, right?
Like his to be frank, his drafts have been okay at best.
Yeah, I mean he's done
best.
well. What was the draft? Was it 3 years ago? Was like Brisker and Gordon?
Yeah.
So I mean that was a good draft.
And then,
Same one, but
Yeah.
Velus Jones 3rd round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach Pickens, he's on the hot seat here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was a 3rd rounder.
Mhm.
Late. I think he was the first pick of the 3rd round. Right?
Yeah, I think it's fair to have some healthy skepticism when it comes to these drafts, where it's like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, we crushed this draft.
Yeah.
I wonder where the balance of power is in that room now with Ben Johnson.
Well, I think Ben Johnson is getting a lot of the toys that he needs. And
Yeah.
you invested in a quarterback, you invested in a coach, an offensive-minded coach, and now you're going to invest. Like, I'm fine with if the Bears next season, if they are in just a shitload of shootouts, and it's like, hey, we're going to have to invest in the defense now, because if you open up this window and Caleb is great and the offense would theoretically be set for a while, because DJ Moore's the oldest guy on the offense, 28.
And he's signed long term. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have a kind of a ramp here that you can figure out if your offense is going to be elite. And I'm a big believer in like to be a great team, you have to be like a really great team, you have to do something great first. You know what I mean? And I'm saying like one specific thing.
Like an identity.
Right. Like the Giants, even though everyone shits on the Giants, I think the Giants had a really good draft because they are going to be an absolute disaster nightmare to try to block up front. Like their defensive line is going to be insane. And if you can build off one thing, and if that's us and Ben Johnson's offense and passing the football, if you can be great at that, you can work on the other stuff later.
Yep.
Hey, let's pause because I want to talk about Ghost. You asked Ghost to listen. Strawbango's here to stay permanently, now sold exclusively at Circle K. It's a perfect duo of fresh strawberry paired with sweet and sour mango for a crisp and refreshing flavor for any occasion. Like all other Ghost energy, it is fully transparent, fully loaded, feel-good energy. It has 0 sugars, no artificial flavors, 200 milligrams of natural caffeine. And I got to tell you, just having like a big travel weekend, I flew to New York, to Birmingham, to back to Chicago, obviously.
Why don't you crack one of those right
know.
now?
I had it in the airport.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's great. You get the distribution is so wide now, so it's awesome that I could get my Ghost wherever it is because I need that 200 milligrams.
Yeah.
You
Natural
need it.
caffeine. You got to have it. Yeah.
Early flights, like early times, get to the track. So, Ghost is great, and like that, like I said, you can get that Strawbango nationwide. It's now sold at Circle K stores, and it's here to stay. Go grab it. Also want to talk about DraftKings. Derby week is here. Gentlemen, suit up in your sharpest. Ladies, let those wide-brimmed hats turn heads. The race is on, but who will rise above the rest and be crowned king of the track? Find out on DK Horse, the #1 downloaded horse betting app. DraftKings is turning up the thrill with the King of the Track promotion. Here's how to get in. Head to the DK Horse app, opt in, and bet $5 or more on a horse to win the Derby. If your pick crosses the finish line first, you'll win a share of $1 million prize pool. It's pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that DK Horse app.
Yeah, it's nice. Who will reign supreme? Download the DK Horse Racing app and use code StretchPod. That's code StretchPod on the DK Horse. Bet $5 or more on a horse to win the Derby for your shot at a piece of $1 million. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
And you can also look at this as effectively as a reset. So you're one of the projects.
Right.
So you didn't maybe they didn't love the running backs that were falling to them. I wonder if Travion Henderson.
I think they would have. I think they got sniped a few times.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Like, we got to pat ourselves on the back for some maturity here.
Yeah.
As I think if last year
Credit to us.
Oh, we would have been crazy.
Yeah.
crazy happy.
Yeah.
Luther
Burden's a stud.
We traded for Joe Toon. Like all the offseason acquisitions on top of this draft, we would have been over the moon.
Yeah. I also think we were going to sign a running back. I've heard Nick Chubb thrown around. I don't know how much miles he has left. And let's just throw this out there. If you go by what I just said in terms of do something great, if you're great at passing the ball, running the ball is a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if you have guys everywhere around the field that are mismatches and defense has to be like they can beat us everywhere, vertically, horizontally, everything, there's gonna be lighter boxes and there's gonna be more chances to run the ball.
Yep.
Definitely.
And I also we saw DJ Moore out of the backfield a little bit last year. I think they'll probably do some of the stuff with Burden.
Yeah.
You know, be like a Deebo Samuel kind of package where I think they're gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
They have talent. And Ben Johnson will be creative and they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I was at Talladega yesterday, and the whole Alabama football team was there, and I was like, hey, like there was a D lineman. I was like, what do you think about Shamar Turner? It's like he's good. I was like, all right, so
yeah,
that's
all right.
That was
ringing endorsement.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be like, oh no, he's nothing, but he said he was good. So
yeah,
I like that. He seems like a hothead.
He did nut shot that one guy.
Yeah, he did.
The Ole Miss
he did.
game, I think.
Guy shouldn't have been standing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't need to get in all these guys because I think like after the 4th round, that's where you kind of get in a flyer zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then the linebacker I'm shocked they didn't take an edge.
That's
Like
that.
shocked.
The running back and edge is the two things where I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, what did TJ say about this Rutgers guy? Conversation.
I haven't talked to him yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's never fumbled.
He's never fumbled, and I think he had the most yards after contact in the last 2 years.
Mhm.
So he could be like another hammerhead.
Thunder,
yeah.
Okay.
And I love the name of the linebacker we got.
Yeah.
Hippolyte.
Yeah. Hippolyte.
The second.
Yeah.
Who's a freak, by the way, athletically.
He's fast.
Yeah.
Did you see Tom Fornelli has a theory which I loved? There's a it's like the relative. I gotta look it up. It's like you can basically put in all their measurables and how they stack up in terms of. Go to Fornelli's Twitter.
He's a missile.
It's like the relative athletic score. I want to say, So when you do his relative athletic score as a linebacker, he actually doesn't grade out that well. And then Tom did his relative athletic score as a running back, and he's like a comp to Saquon Barkley.
Oh, really?
So Tom was like, maybe that's our running back. Yeah. Which would be so funny. Keep scrolling.
That's very funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, because he is like, this guy has 4.42 speed, which is pretty
Crazy,
insane.
yeah.
It would have been the fastest time at keep going. There it is. So click that. So click the first one. So that's him as a linebacker. You see a lot of red, composite size grade poor as a linebacker. He's got crazy speed, okay explosion, okay agility. Now you click right. This is him as a running back, and it's just green everywhere. So
It's unreal.
We got our guy.
Yeah, we got our running back.
Yeah.
But a fourth rounder on what seems to be Sanborn's replacement, especially when you play nickel a lot. Like, there's some things where
Maybe he helps in nickel though too.
I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting the plan. I'm not.
Listen, half of these picks aren't going to work out.
Yeah. It's
You just got to hope.
He's probably a core special teams
You
guy.
just got to nail. Let's say you got to nail. They have to have nailed 3 out of the top 4.
Yeah.
The 3. So it's Shamar Turner, Ozzie Tripoli, Luther Burden, and Colston Loveland. 3 out of those 4 guys have to be if you're going to do what we want them to do, and that's be a really competitive team in the playoffs.
You got to nail that.
Yeah, you got to nail 3 out of those 4.
Yeah. Car thoughts. Like just closing my eyes at night. Like, I was just thinking of Anthony Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
When it comes to Luther Burden,
Yeah.
but it's just like, I don't know. There's something about that electric wide receiver, second round, like
Memphis, Mizzou.
yeah, like, you know what I mean. Like there was and irrational. Car thoughts are irrational, right? Like, did we do cookies for? Did we do dessert for dinner again? Like, was this,
I see that.
We're talking.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I'm not mad.
The reality of it is in the last 2 drafts, our top 4 picks have been quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver. That's probably not the best
Not ideal.
team.
Yeah.
No.
I agree with that. That's a deep thought of mine as well, where it's like you preach building through the trenches, and then you just get a bunch of guys on the outside.
Yeah.
Which is why it's good that they did
Built
free
through the trenches
agency.
and free agency,
Yeah.
which has to work.
Yeah.
It has to work. You're right.
Yeah, there's. I do think we're being mature because I do think there's. There are. First of all, you never know what the fuck the draft. Like,
No.
you just don't. And this team has a lot of growth, and it's going to be a lot on Ben Johnson getting the most out of these guys. But that's why you paid him $13 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's there, and he's a fucking lunatic. And again, I like the idea because we've seen it before. I mean, like, going even back to, like when Jay had no one, obviously when they drafted Alshon and brought in Brandon Marshall, you start to get some guys, but like, there's nothing more frustrating than having a guy who you think is the quarterback and being like, but he's got no one to throw to. That has been eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That question is eliminated. He has all of the tools in terms of skill positions to distribute the football. If he can't distribute the football to these guys, it wasn't going to happen with anyone.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out. Whereas, like, in the past, the Bears have had quarterbacks where you're like, well, he's throwing to no one.
They have, and I think so much of this is coaching too.
Yeah.
And scheme. So
Yeah.
it's like, would Ben Johnson have gotten more out of that group last year? I think he probably would have.
Yeah.
So
Definitely on the offensive side.
definitely on the offensive side. So protection obviously was a problem last year. You hope that's better this year. But like Keenan Allen was probably more washed than people realized. But he had other weapons.
Yeah.
They got nothing out of the tight end position last year. Now you would think they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're going to hopefully make things easier on Kalo, just being like, hey, we're going to attack the middle of the field, and your first read's going to usually be there.
Right.
Yeah, listen, whatever happens week 1 through week 18 next year, you can be decently okay with how they approach the offseason from the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Defense
just,
is going to be, I don't know.
yeah, like that's what really scares me. Like
Right.
Dennis Allen, like, what can
He's
this
gotta
guy
work
do?
some magic. Our defensive line gives me concerns, and it's kind of flipped where it's like you can't take injuries.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, let's pause and talk about Aura Frames. Ready to win Mother's Day and cement your reputation as the best gift giver in the family? Give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, and it's easy to see why.
I have one.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I got one as a gift, and I have like all my nephews and pictures of George and everybody in my family and they just kind of cycle through them. It's beautiful.
So you just walk in and it's like a different photo every time. That's awesome. There's unlimited storage, so you can add as many photos, videos, and funny memes as you can find. And it is so simple to set up. Just plug it in and share away. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA frames.com, promo code STRETCH. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Yeah, like if we're giving up 5 yards of carry and,
Right.
Tremaine Edmonds is just on his back, it's going to be like,
Yeah.
well, we fucking saw this coming.
Right.
Yeah. They don't have any dudes on defense.
But again, that's where I'm like, if we're playing shootouts and then you, instead of feeling like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that this offense should be elite, and if it's not, we have bigger problems. So let's say so if this offense isn't elite, we have way bigger problems. It's a bigger clusterfuck than we realized. They're gonna have it's just a big problem. Let's just say the offense is elite and the defense has holes, which I think we could guess they might. You now at least have, instead of being like in an offseason, we have to fix everything, you have one thing you have to fix, where it feels like we've been in a lot of off seasons where it's like, pick a hole.
Everything's broken. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man.
And it's like the thing with the defensive line giving us concern is Sweat took such a step backwards last year. Like what is the
I think
real
that's also talent around him.
Right.
It's like there's these things aren't in a vacuum. If you only have one guy who can
get to the quarterback.
and one guy who demands a double team, it's a lot harder.
Totally. But yeah, that offense.
And now you have Grady Jarrett in that mix too. You have Gervon Dexter year 3. I think I don't know. I'm not like the defense is going to be like a bottom 5 defense in the league.
No, I don't think that.
Okay.
But
and again, credit to Ryan Poles, we didn't give up any extra picks, that was what I was very nervous about.
which is great. Yeah.
That was the biggest thing I was nervous about going into this draft was we were going to have like a Ryan Pace situation where he starts, because Ryan Pace did that multiple times where he traded for Khalil Mack, traded picks, we traded up for Trubisky, traded picks, traded up for Justin Fields, right? Didn't we trade up for Justin
did.
Fields?
Yeah.
Like traded picks. So it's like every draft we went into it being like, if this doesn't work out, we're fucked because we just gave up the future.
Yeah.
We didn't fuck the fucher.
No.
Correct. Yeah.
Where I saw the press conference Poles did, I think it was after day 2 maybe. And I think Werderer asked him a very good question, like a direct question, being like, did you get sniped on running back? And he's like, the draft has pockets and we don't want to overextend ourselves. And I appreciate that we're not overextend, because like we could have traded up.
He's got guardrails off. Yeah.
Yeah, and gotten the running back. And would we have felt better today? Maybe. But I wouldn't have felt better next year if you have more holes that you didn't expect.
For sure. But the more we talk about it, the more I realize like we have to have like really high expectations for the offense.
Yeah.
Offense has to be elite.
It has to
and
be.
if it's not, we're in just a
We're
world of shit.
Yeah.
It's just
then you drafted the wrong quarterback.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy that we are going to be in a situation where we find out the answer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Caleb Williams is the guy. I'm rooting for him very hard. If it doesn't go well next year, I will be the first to be like, okay, maybe this isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but they're not excuses because you could have addressed it. But the only realistic like things you could say was, all right, Braxton Jones, officially not the guy because he's been kind of wishy-washy. And then if I'm very confident in Tooney, but and if the other right guard situation, or if Darnell Wright doesn't get better, so like there's some line like outs, if that makes sense. If you know what I'm saying, but
I'm not. I see what you're saying.
But
you got to stay healthy.
Yes, but I still like we should expect it to be very good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think obviously like the elephant in the room kind of becomes what happens with Cole. Like obviously this year's going to play out.
Yeah.
He's still
this is his last year guaranteed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything's going to change for him, right? Because seemingly you could finish his deal out and then
Find someone
figure it out.
else.
Loveland will need to be paid at the end. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's kind of a rookie contract. So
But it's also like Cole probably has to change what his DNA is. Like, he's going to have to be the inline guy because that's not Loveland. So if you want to be on the field, you have to be a better run blocker. Like, you have to, like, that has to be a bigger part of your game going forward now that you have Loveland.
which I think he'd welcome. And
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Take
but
off.
that was not a strength last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I love Cole.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
That was not.
No.
He wasn't good though.
there were so many times where just guys were just
Yeah.
they could never be 6 deep with everyone doing the right thing and making
Right.
the right block.
Yeah.
So, all right, sounds like we're like, I don't know. It's weird to be like very measured.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was I don't think there's anything in this draft that like jumped out being like, man, we just fixed every problem. We left the draft getting some strength stronger and
Yeah.
having some holes that continue.
Yeah.
And it's running back and edge. And we knew that going in, and it was very funny that White Sox Dave did the whole L and the P thing, and our first 2 picks were an E and an R.
Yeah, that is very funny.
It's like so White Sox Dave.
Yeah.
Like I just wonder.
He picked 80% of the field with
And-
the L and
and-
B's,
and missed.
and he missed.
I just wonder where he was when he was like finding out the news that
Yeah,
the L and the B's weren't happening.
Yeah.
so funny, so funny.
Is he actually coming on?
Yeah, we can bring
Oh
him on.
yes. I mean, if we can. But yeah, I don't know. Just it's a different ball game to be measured.
Well, maybe we won't be measured here in a second.
What's up, Dave?
What's going on? How's everybody doing back in the States?
Great.
What about we want to talk L's and B's.
Yeah, you
L's
missed.
and B's. Let's talk some
you
L's
missed,
and B's.
You missed bad. We went E and R.
That, I freaked out a little bit. I think a lot of people probably freaked out because they didn't see tight end, wide receiver going 1-2 to the first 2 picks to the Bears. But after digesting it a little bit, there was enough hog mollies taken in the middle and the meaty part of the draft where I think I am happy with the draft.
The meaty part of the draft.
Yeah.
That's a good way to spin zone the rounds that don't usually hit.
Right.
Meaty part of the draft.
Yeah.
Your 4th, 5th, 6th round guys.
Yeah.
Meaty part of the draft.
All right, where were you for the draft? Were you like on a vineyard or what was going on?
No, I was, it started at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in Italy. So we were back in the Airbnb, but I watched it all. It freaked me out a little bit because obviously, like we talked about Loveland last week. I'm like, is there any shot at him? And if I recall correctly, we all kind of said nah, right?
Yeah. Well, I said at the start of this, I think Ryan Poles, you can now figure out his draft tell is the guy he doesn't talk about at all is the guy he's going to pick.
That's what it sounds like for sure. But I know there's a bunch of superlatives used when speaking about the draft in both directions, negative and positive. I heard matchup nightmare on Twitter. I saw it, I should say, on Twitter. Matchup nightmare for Colson Loveland. And if that's the case, sign me up. Matchup nightmare is the exact type of description I want out of a top 10 pick. So
He wants hog
count
mollies and
me in as
matchup
happy
nightmares.
for it, I guess. It's just a little, it was, like I said, it was a little weird. I don't know why you guys took umbrage to me saying it was
I didn't.
a weird.
No, I agree with you. It was weird. We didn't take a running back or an edge. Like, it was weird.
That's exactly what I was getting at. Now, I think it was a very safe draft based on my inexpert scouting ability. But no running back, no edge was a little. I don't think you can give them anything over a B, but there was enough needs addressed where I think a solid B is a safe grade for them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd give him a B. I think that's a B draft.
Now, Eddie, I got a question for you. You said that their second pick, Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
did I
that's
get his
it.
name?
Oh, you got it.
You guys Eddie said he's a dog. Now, I want you guys to talk to me about him because that was Loveland fine tight end was always kind of a possibility. The E was a possibility.
Yep.
I thought R was like no shot at all. Like they did that last year. ours not
He's
happening in the
different
first
though.
2 picks.
Yeah, he's different than Rome. I thought R was a possibility. I didn't think it would be the second pick that we take, but I knew Keenan Allen's gone. We knew we needed another R.
I just thought it would be a little later
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And that they'd sink most of their highest draft capital into the first couple picks along the line, like I said. But I'm happy with it. I do think the floor on Ozzie Trapillo. So funny story, he was recruited by Northwestern, and I remember his recruitment. And he was one of the guys that I would get sent his huddle back when he was a senior in high school. And like, hey, look at this kid. He obviously blew up. He's 6'8", 6'9", or whatever he's listed at. I did shoot a text when I saw it, and they're like, dude, he's the safest offensive lineman you could be. He'll never be a superstar, but that's a plug and chug guy. Like, he's pro ready. There's not much development that he needs. He's obviously a massive, huge human being, and that's what I wanted. So I'm happy with it. I want to see what the consensus is from you guys, though.
I also want to. That's a good point, Dave. I'm happy you brought him up too. I do think Poles needs to hit this one. Like, if he gets his bones as a offensive lineman, because I don't feel great about Karan.
No.
After last year,
no.
It's not to say the book's closed on him. The guy was a rookie. He missed the whole offseason because of surgery.
But he was always a project,
and he was a third rounder.
Right.
So you get a third,
and he missed on free agency last year in the offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. So
right.
you have to beat those top 3 rounds. Like, you have to make those.
Yes.
Like,
those guys have to make your team.
Yes, the Eagles, they fucking draft well in the first 3 to 4 rounds.
Yeah.
So he's this Ozzie guy. Like, it's kind of on watch with Ryan Poles as far as offensive line goes.
I literally asked about him, and they're like, yeah, plug and chug, ready to go, NFL ready. Just like his ceiling's high, or his floor's really high, his ceiling's not quite that high. So take that. I mean, for a second rounder, I think that's fine. A 50 whatever pick, that was the other thing. So Poles, he traded a second rounder and gained a third second rounder and a fourth rounder. Is my math correct there?
Picked up an extra third, or extra second, rather,
Yeah. Traded back in the took Luther Burden.
Crafty right there.
Yeah, then traded their second rounder. Yeah, we got the same amount of picks, but higher up. We traded 3 picks for 3 picks.
When I sent that weird text, that's what I sent it right as they traded the second pick in the second round. That's why I was like, what? Like, this is not making sense to me. But as it unfolded, and obviously they took the kind of the lotto tickets with that cornerback. He's like 6'3", 190, the 4'3" kid.
Yeah.
Zob Frazier, correct? I think out of UTEP or whatever. But
UTSA.
That's exactly the kind of shot you want to take in the 5th round. I think they need a little depth there. We don't know quite what what's his face is, opposite Johnson.
Stevenson.
Stevenson was kind of bad last year. You need depth there. Maybe this guy turns into something too if you tap into all those tools. So I think there's a lot to like, aside from them, probably whiffing on. It looked like they got beat on drafting a bunch of running backs, but all in all, I think we're happy.
Yeah, I don't think we would have traded with the Bills if it went Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson in 2 out of 3 picks right before our pick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we would have taken one of those guys, and then you knew the Saints were going to take Tyler Shuck, and then we would have had Luther Burden with the second one. So I think that's where the draft just didn't fall our way.
Yeah. Dave, I'm impressed with your ability to follow this thing all the way in Italy. Look at you.
What do you got on the plans for the rest of the trip?
So
what day are you proposing?
None. I'm sure she heard that and is going to be asking the same question. But we're just overlooking the beautiful Tuscan Valley right now. Did a lovely it wasn't a wine tour per se, but there was wine in it. I will be bringing home gifts for everybody. Eddie, I got you a fantastic piece of handcrafted weaponry from
Nice.
from.
How are you going to bring that back?
Italy.
Yeah, he'll probably,
This one I'll be able to get back.
Okay.
He'll probably leave it in
I
there.
hope you guys like wine. I'm going to be coming home with a shit ton of wine, olive oil for you guys.
Oh, love the olive oil. I'll
take
dip
the
some
olive
oil. Yeah.
Guys, don't get your hopes up. He told me he's bringing me a Taylor ham
That's
once.
true.
and he
That
left-
is true. But hey, Ed,
He
there's
ate
so
it.
much of it, I couldn't possibly finish it all. I just spent $300 shipping a bunch to the States already. So I do say all this. the guy at the winery, he did say I won't have it for 4 weeks. So don't ask me about it right when I get back. It's going to be a little bit, but it's coming back. But Italy's cool. I have discovered that I don't have a hatred for Italians. It's a hatred for Italian Americans.
Got it.
Got it.
Italians, very nice people, love showing off their culture, their country, their food. They're not loud. They're very quiet and easygoing. And I think they probably hate Italian Americans as much as I do.
You hate
So,
New
yeah.
Yorkers.
Yes,
New Jersey.
northeast, I would
Yeah.
say.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That sounds fun, Dave. Sounds like a nice trip.
Did you conclave at all?
So I was in the room that Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky were brokering their peace deal with literally 15 hours before they were in there. They closed the Vatican at 7 p.m. on Friday, I believe, and we were the very, very, very last group to get to tour it. So that was kind of awesome. But if you can get to Rome, because the place is unbelievably cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Have you
And
been?
aside from that,
No.
Jerry Reinsdorf is doing his best to piss me off from overseas.
Oh, you're right.
Saw
Yeah,
that.
you should
Yep.
say something about that.
I mean, that's not anything we didn't already know.
I didn't know he blew off a meeting.
So I actually am glad you brought that up, Chief. I'm guessing in that text message that was a little fib or embellishment. I don't think he blew off the meeting. I don't think there was ever another meeting scheduled. Because that's what Harper told Smitty when Smitty asked him flat out about the White Sox back in like 2021 or whatever it was. If you guys remember that clip, I think that was for like Barstool, like whatever gambling show they were doing out there at the time. But it was nothing we didn't know. It's just like I can't get away from this guy for any amount of time. Everything he does turns to ash.
Light at the end of the tunnel, though,
Hate him.
Dave.
I hate him.
Light at the end of the tunnel. All right, then. Hey, guys, we got to pause again because I got to tell you about this Lou Malnati.
I'm very excited for this sponsor.
Oh my
This has always been my number one deep dish.
Lou Malnati's is great.
The best crust.
And specifically, they got a new pizza. It's called the Buffalo Chicken Pizza.
Ooh.
It's a collaboration with Frank's Red Hot.
Love that.
And I had the opportunity to try it 2 weeks ago, and you guys all have the opportunity to try it now. It's at every Lou's you can go to. It's awesome.
Okay.
I got like Lou's asked me afterwards, like, what'd you think? And I was like, I'll be honest. I was a little cautious because I was worried.
Skeptical.
I was skeptical. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the word I was looking for. Sorry, I was a little skeptical because sometimes Frank's Red Hots can be a little too overpowering on things.
Totally.
They nailed it.
Okay.
It's subtle, but it's there.
Get a little extra after.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Okay.
And that's ad aside. They knocked out of the park with that collaboration. And they did a great job with the Mike's Hot Honey one they had.
Yeah.
And I think that's still out too. So it's available in both deep dish and thin crust for dine-in, carry-out delivery, and nationwide shopping via Taste of Chicago. The first official Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Chicken Pizza features Lou's signature buttery crust, a house-made ranch and hot sauce blend, shredded chicken, mozzarella, and a drizzle of the secret sauce. It's bold, creamy, and packed with flavor, a perfect pairing for two iconic brands. You can order for pickup or delivery at LouMalnati's.com. Visit LouMalnati's.com and order your Buffalo Chicken Pizza and all your deep dish favorites. There he is, the cultured White Sox Dave.
Yeah.
Is he in proposal range with his girlfriend?
Logically, yes, but I don't think so.
Because that's a ballsy move to take a European trip. If you're in that range,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
true.
just like, when is?
What do you
that?
think the range is? They've been together over 2 years.
Yeah, what is the range?
That's probably right.
Yeah.
They live together, right?
They do not.
Oh, so then he's fine.
Yeah.
Never mind.
He's still in-
fine. Yeah,
still in
yeah.
fine
They don't
range.
live together. He's fine.
You have a tattoo?
Yeah,
What is that?
I have two. This is a Grateful Dead lightning bolt, and this is my kid's birthdays. I'm gonna probably get a bunch more.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yeah.
You got that done
Kind
here,
of a
right?
midlife crisis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, didn't you have a Liverpool thing or no?
That was
Oh, it's
Feidelberg.
Feidelberg? Sorry.
Heidelberg.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had tattoos.
Yeah.
My
Well, this one is because of
A bet, right?
White Sox Dave.
no, it's because of what's his name, our fucking idiot cornerback.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek
Yeah.
Stevens.
And White Sox.
Yeah, White
Yeah.
Sox Dave. You're not going to
Yeah, and
apologize
White
for a
Sox
loss. Yeah.
The PFT
for
and I
a
do a
win.
tattoo bet for Commanders Bears every year, And so he got a tattoo last year, and this is my tattoo for that.
Oh, they don't play this year, right?
They do.
Oh, they do.
So it'll be a tattoo bet.
Tattoo
again.
bet.
We did it as like a joke when we were both bad. I guess we're still bad. They're good. So yeah.
What's the next one if you're getting a bunch more? Have you thought about it?
I haven't. I don't know. I think I'm not going to get like a sleeve or anything, but I'm going to get a couple more on my arm somewhere. I don't know. I like it.
Would you do one of those predict in the future championship?
No, absolutely not. No, it's going to be very like minimalist, like nothing like crazy, like any crazy like
2027 Bears Super Bowl champion?
No, there will be none of that. None of that.
Schedule drops in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm
May
excited for that.
14th.
2 weeks. All right, anything else draft-wise?
No.
My final note is obviously like there were major concerns about Mike Green because he slid.
Yeah, he slid far.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was accused of sexual assault in high school and college.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Not good, but he slid far. I wonder if he was on their board at all. Probably not, and in hindsight, like even thinking he would be.
Yeah, you wanted him at 10. No, you wanted him at 10.
Yeah.
For real. But he was like, which was a little bit of a jump, but
Yeah.
he was
Good thing
projected.
you weren't drafting.
No, it's a good thing I wasn't. Or maybe he's going to be awesome. Maybe I should have been.
But still positional value.
Yeah.
It would have been bad to take him at 10 when he went to 59.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cubs tough one yesterday, but still won the week.
I was at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tyone like pitched well.
Yeah.
He was, really
He
good.
was struggling. He was like 35 pitches through the first inning and a half and through the first like 4 outs, and then he settled down.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucked because like Aaron Nola's been really bad, and we made him look awesome.
Yeah.
Horrible. His velocity's down. Yeah.
Bullpen once again.
Yeah.
It's Cubs Sundays. They're never like
But
an
this
easy
is
experience.
what we knew going into the year. Is like they didn't spend in the offseason.
Yeah.
But they, the promise was that they're saving that money to reinvest at the deadline. So we know what the issues are, and they better fucking do it because they've got through this hard part of their schedule in first place. So you would think like, hey, we can actually do something here. They just have to have the balls to go do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that win against the Dodgers was awesome.
Yeah, Maya.
Awesome.
Did you see I was one number off of the 50-50?
I did see
Oh
that.
no, I didn't see that.
did.
I guess it was
see
technically
that.
1,000 numbers off, but I don't know
But
how.
it's
Like it was
no.
one single digit was off of theirs, and it was 6. The winning digit was a 6. I had a 7.
They should let you put a percentage of your 50-50s towards renewing your season tickets.
Seriously, I'm gonna win it. I think I'm gonna win it this year.
Yeah, you got to get it at some point.
I think I am.
So of the 81, how many do you think you go to?
Games?
Yeah.
Probably 20.
Okay.
I'm at 5, and it's
so
Yeah.
still April.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably 20.
So still, your odds are never good. But
No,
No.
but
I mean they've
But
never.
they get better every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking do this. You just watch.
I believe you will hit it at some point because I was following that Stephen Shea bet from afar because I had a lot of shit going on this weekend.
Yeah.
But that was unbelievable.
That was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
If you don't know, plus 3,000, a buzzer beater in the Nuggets Clippers series, and then obviously Aaron Gordon,
Crazy.
Lorenzo, what's his name from NC State? Why am I blanking on his name? The
I know who you're talking. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
it was, Lorenzo Charles maybe. I don't know. Crazy game, crazy,
Crazy.
bet, crazy win.
Yeah. Stephen Shea. Just when he's out. He just
Because
He seemed dead. He seemed dead on draft night.
so dead.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you, though. There's too many times where we're like, oh, that's great value. But it's like everything.
No,
can
it's
be great.
not.
Yeah, sure. It's be great value. But is it going to fucking win?
No, right.
Because if
You need to win one of the great values.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. Like people in betting, like in the betting land, love to talk about great value.
Right.
When it's like, all right, but like,
Winning bet is a winning bet.
yeah, realistically,
You're almost better off doing like the PFT version where he takes like plus or minus
Yeah,
1,000.
right.
And it's just like you're taking a stock dividend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a higher yield.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else? I mean, Cubs wise, you still took 4 out of 7 for the Dodgers, so it's still a good week.
Yeah. It would have been nice to win that series on
Yeah.
Sunday night against the Phillies, but
It looked like a beautiful day. at
it
Wrigley,
was
too.
gorgeous. Day of the year.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the day of the year.
Day of the year.
So far.
So
I missed it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
It
was
fucking like it was.
I had a wedding
Eddie-
this weekend and I was still looking at game time, trying to be like, maybe I'll just go.
There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was like 59 degrees all day. Like maybe 63 in the sun. Oh,
The best.
day of the year.
Yeah.
I was
I
getting.
took a walk.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Took a walk.
It was like the sun beamed on me on the track at Talladega,
It was day of the year. There's nothing better.
which was fun. But that day of the year sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully we have better days, but as of right now,
Getting that in April, though, was pretty nice.
April 27th has been the day of the year in Chicago for
Is
2025.
is it wrong that I'm like kind of laughing at some of this like April weather because of all the people who moved here and they're like, "What's going on?" It's like, dude, this is what.
Yeah, the first year was easy, and then this is we got the hooks in them. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about the like bad weather. It doesn't.
No, I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
It's like only affects things if you want to go.
It's also like as soon as it gets like consistently over 35, it's like I'm good. You know.
Yeah.
Like I don't. It's fine.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah, like,
Once it's over 40, I'm fine.
Yeah, right. It's just I'm
You're
not
good to
gonna
go.
I'm not gonna complain if it's 45 degrees in April. It's like this is still way better.
Totally.
Yeah.
We didn't get the coach we wanted for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, so David Carl just looked at the roster and was like, I know you're going to quadruple my salary, but no thanks.
Yeah.
So not great. And they don't really have a plan B, is what it sounds like from talking to people. So
What about Seabrook?
they won't even have a 10th anniversary party for the 2015 team.
That's crazy.
So they let 13 and 10 pass by without any acknowledgement. So they're definitely not going to bring back him. Quenville's available. He's supposedly going to get the Ducks job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I feel like we've been hearing that he's going to get this job.
This is the first year where he's allowed.
But wasn't he the Leafs? Like
He would have been the Leafs. The Leafs wanted him, and the league said no. And then a week later, they lifted like the unofficial suspension.
Isn't it kind of crazy though? Isn't it nice? All these Midwest cities, Detroit, Cleveland, in Milwaukee. Who else am I missing that's still in the NBA playoffs? Indiana,
Minnesota.
Yeah, and then obviously you go to NHL, like the St. Louis is in there. They're having a nice series.
St. Louis.
Detroit sports are back. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. The Wild are having a nice series, and we're just fucking hanging with our dick in our hands.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in a dark spot.
Everyone's thriving.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Yeah, good for them, but bad for us.
The Rust Belt's back.
Yeah, the Rust Belt's having a nice time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Cubs are good.
yeah, the Cubs are good, but